This is Critical Nonsense, our high-lowbrow show about culture, science, and tech. This week, I ask Aaron about the Traitors and hating the player, not the game.
Woo! I want you to play Wagon Wheel Watusi. This is what an Aaron sounds like. And this is what an executive producer and Wagon Wheel Watusi dance star Jess Vander sounds like.
Hi, this is Jess, and also Cher.
Yes. I watched, literally right before we recorded, I watched the 3-minute clip of Cher telling Christina Aguilera, like, Wagon Wheel Watusi.
Wagon Wheel Watusi.
It's like, you say you want to dance in my club. You say you know the whole oeuvre. Give me Wagon Wheel Watusi. And Stanley Tucci gives that little face of like, I told you so, which is such a Tucci.
And then she's like, oh, have I practiced? Oh, am I prepared? Please.
So good.
So good.
And I will say, everyone needs to watch Burlesque, if for nothing else than to appreciate, love them both, the strength of Cher's acting and the trash of Christina Aguilera's acting. Like, the two of them are just like smashing against each other. Like, wow. Oh, you're a singer and you are a multi-hyphenate goddess.
Yeah.
I see. That's cool. But maybe we want to stay in our lane. Maybe. Like I said, love them both.
But also,
and Stanley Tucci
speaks the truth. Wow.
Indeed.
Any other piping hot takes to clean our house?
I think I've burned it all down, so I think we're good. But Jess, you had something on your mind, and I'd love to hear what it is. What you noodling about?
Well, if any of you all had listened to Aaron and my last conversation, you may know that he had advised me and all of us to do ourselves the service of watching The Traitors, currently available on Peacock. And it is the competition show of murdering mystery and like a lot of what did Ryan call it? All of the games they play are like, well, I think he was like fetch games, basically. It's like you will go into the forest and you will find this special skull, and then you will return it back in time. And then it's like they do that like 10 different times.
So true. Oh, that's amazing.
But it's basically the same game every time. But anyway, Aaron inspired me. I did, in fact, follow his counsel, and I watched all of the latest season, which was, I guess, against his counsel. He suggested that you watch from the beginning, but I couldn't help myself. I wanted to be part of the zeitgeist. Anyway, in all of this, and without further spoilers for any of you who haven't made haste on this advice, there is a really interesting, among all the drama that is occurring on this show, beyond some of the shipping behavior that we had talked about in our last discussion. There's this interesting phenomenon and a clear divide along sort of what feels to me like different people's alignment with the idiom don't hate the player, hate the game. Because there are some folks who take personally and are outraged by the inevitable betrayals and twists and turns that occur. And there are others who, especially if, like me, you go down the rabbit hole of all of the extended content universe of people being like, oh my, wow, you got to give it to them. Like, wow, okay, wow, well played. Like, it just became clear to me that this philosophy is, though understood and known by many, maybe not held by all people and not in all contexts. And so it just got me wondering, Aaron, when is it okay to hate the player, not the game?
my young 90s self is like in middle school, just like, yeah, I agree with this statement and I get it and I love it. So in order to share my perspective on this, I had to think of what players I do hate.
Yeah.
Regardless of the game.
Right.
And maybe it's not me. I'll say like ones that have a reputation for being hated. We'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly, the first person that came to mind was Chevy Chase.
Fascinating. Say more.
Yes. So Chevy Chase is an actor who many people know from Saturday Night Live, who know from Fletch. Was he in Fletch? I think he was in Fletch. I don't know. I'm going to start naming really weird movies. He was also on Community more recently. That's probably the thing that like he's most recently known for. But he was big in the 80s, considered a comedy legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's also considered a complete narcissistic, horrible person. Just
Whoa.
like, and so he actually, his Community castmates do not talk to him and have gone on the record multiple times about how horrible he was to work with.
Whoa.
John Carpenter, the horror film director, directed him in a 1980s movie called something. It was a movie starring Chevy Chase that came out the weekend that Wayne's World came out. And I say that because we will Google the name of the movie. It was a bomb, which is why it's not well known. But John Carpenter has said that working with Chevy Chase on that movie, he wanted to quit directing altogether.
Whoa.
He hated working with him.
Wow.
And so when I think about what all these people say, and there is, by the way, there's a Netflix, I think it's a Netflix recent documentary that just came out that's about Chevy Chase, and he's in it, and he doesn't do himself many favors. I'll just say that. Like, I don't think it's not like the America's Next Top Model thing where like maybe you cut some things together or edit it in such a way that it heightens the like blah of the person. It's like, no, he's kind of doing all the work himself in that. And it doesn't need an editor. So with all that yikesiness, and by the way, it's just that he is like classically mean. Like for the most part, like he says, apparently he's said some pretty odious things that are of all of the isms in different ways, but it's more so that just like he's just like mean about to everybody, like you know. So long-winded way of setting up Chevy Chase, but I think what's interesting is that the game of Hollywood is fundamentally obtuse, unclear, and it's such a popularity contest that like there are no rules, or the rules are suggestions, and the rules are what you bring with you. And so even the notion that one can break the rules on the road to success is sort of like a loose concept. Now, I'm also not talking about like moral and ethical I don't want to minimize them by calling them missteps, but terrible things that people have done in that regard. I just mean that like you do this and this thing happens is not the mechanism. There is no ladder. There is not a single way to do it. Mm-hmm. And so like in that case, like there's a collective hatred of Chevy Chase because the game isn't clear. There are no rules because there are like other people are playing a different game. And he is for some reason still getting the spoils of it, which is getting cast in film after film, being put on billboards, like I'm flashing back to the 80s here. So I don't know. I start to wonder if it does have to do with the like fuzziness of rules and the sort of like lack of discipline around who raised their hand to be in said game that then allows for a justifiable excoriation of the player. That's a hypothesis.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it also got me thinking about for all of the complexity of and however you may feel about the legend Kobe Bryant. The saying about like, you know, these guys are out here playing checkers, I'm out here playing chess. Like what happens when you're playing two different games, and like is that actually the source of what largely dictates whether outrage ensues or not, or like whether you end up hating the player instead because you're like, what? Well, according to my game, like that's not that's not allowed, and now you're cheating, or like you're breaking all of the things that we're supposed to be doing. It's like, sorry that you can't keep up. Sorry that you're playing the wrong game. Like that dynamic is, it's like whose onus is that?
Yes. And implied within their onus is the like what is valued in the game, because it suggests a highly logical way of winning. Like that you can win regardless of anything else if you are smart. Like if your brain is present, if you're a smart person. And I love the idea of Kobe Bryant in this conversation because like sports are physical. Sports are like, I mean, obviously sports are head too, but like you don't see a lot of Muggsy Bogueses on the basketball court these days. A 5'8" guy running around is not as common in that sport, mostly because there's a physical threshold for what's going to give someone an edge in the game. But like, I think what's interesting is that I will not name the winner of this season of Traitors, but he definitely, to your point, is, I think, the perfect example of like, this was all about logic. Like playing the game was about logic. And I just thought through the logic puzzle better. And I was able to keep my emotions out of it. Yes. The winner has said multiple times, taking my emotions out of it, taking my emotions out of it, taking my emotions out of it. And I think I find that really, I don't know if I find it troubling. I find it interesting. The notion that like, if you play a game, you are not supposed to have emotions. That's sore loser. Like all these things just kind of come down to, if you signed up for it, you must not express yourself.
Or
it seems stupid.
fair, or and to separate, I guess, more importantly, like the having of the emotions, valid, important, real. But if they get the best of you and make you make less logical decisions, which I think is a thing that then you can see often of like, well, and in this particular example of this show, like some people taking umbrage at the betrayer saying, hey, what? And then acting irrationally just because they're mad. And you're like, see, but in this, but like fair that you have those feelings, but also what if you're actually putting yourself in a worse strategic position because you're having these feelings. And it's like, in that way, the problem is that not so much that those feelings, that there's anything wrong with having those feelings at a baseline, but what if they come back to bite you when the game plays yet on?
That is a very good point. That's a great point, because the winner was very emotional, I would say. I would say that they were on many occasions expressing emotion about what it feels like. And in every season of the Traitors, when they do the confessionals, you'll hear that theme.
Right.
Of like, I feel like a bad person. And the winner was on Kelly Clarkson recently, because I watched clips of the Kelly Clarkson show because I'm a man of a certain age. And the first thing that Kelly Clarkson says, I love it because it's Kelly Clarkson and Daniel Radcliffe and the winner. And Kelly Clarkson says to the winner, don't you just feel like an asshole? Like, don't you?
Yeah.
And the winner kind of replies in a very placid way, like, this was the game that we all signed up for, and I won it. So,
right.
Yeah, it felt bad. But, and this is the other sort of like meta thing that I think is in there, is like games are separate from reality.
Yes.
And what makes the US Traitors, the ones that they've been doing with celebrities, so interesting is that it definitely elevates the fact that their reality being a popularity contest, because they're only known because they were on reality TV, for which they do not have a discernible skill. And then they're in this show.
The Survivor people. The skill is surviving.
You know,
the Big Brother people is Big Brothering.
Oh, Lord. But I will say the Drag Race queens are the only ones that have discernible talent to get on their thing.
Right.
So,
and also varied talent.
And varied talent. So then this idea that like games are separate from life is so torturesome, because games are like, that sort of psychological game is their life. Like how you get on TV and how you garner people's attention via social media, all those things, you do whatever you can to get that attention. You go through those sort of moral or ethical quandaries in micro ways. So it's like, it's very funny watching certain cast members after the series have beef and like have their fandoms beefing, because like, oh dear, it is actually, the game is for them part of their life, which is really weird.
Right. But at the same time, and like, and this is where this makes for tremendous TV. Is getting distracted by that versus, again, what the winner is talking about, which is, but this is a social deduction game, and it is one that by definition requires lying. Like you have to be, you're lying by the name of the show is called The Traitors. Yes. Like someone's got to be lying and betraying, and that's, I think, what is interesting here, especially of like those hating the player in this instance, saying like, well, but in our regular lives, like that would lose you lose you the popularity contest for sure. Of like, oh, but if you're acting as if you're a bad actor, like you can't sit with us, like you aren't one of the us. But at the same time, it's like, yes, but we all are playing a lying game.
Yeah. So this is what I am finding so interesting about how this season's winner is being treated relative to other seasons' winners. And I'm really trying hard to tap dance around spoilers, so we might
so sorry.
We might still have to put a little plug up top, so sorry. But I think you can just compare the fact that they're being very open about who the winner is. Like I think that many other shows don't necessarily have like this quick of a blitz, like a press blitz of the winner, because it can spoil the show for people who just found out about it and want to get into it. And what is interesting about it is, and also this press blitz to me seems a lot more visible and a lot more bigger and well orchestrated than the previous winners. It's also because the show won, I think, some Emmys, and like it's a bigger show now, so like that is definitely a part of it. But part of the other thing that it does is that it valorizes the winner. And in seasons where there are some seasons where a traitor wins, and there are some seasons where a faithful wins. And my favorite versions, this is so hard to not spoil anything. The version that I like the most are the ones that are really morally compromised. And ultimately, they're all pretty morally compromised by the end.
Right.
Because for those who haven't seen the show, you should know that like at the end, the sort of winning condition requires everyone to be in agreement. around whether or not there is still a traitor among the people who are left. And so you end up, even with a small pool of people, you also have just this greed factor of like, well, if there are 4 of us that are splitting this pot of money, 3 of us, even if we're all faithfuls, could decide we don't want that other person getting it. We want a bigger slice of the pie, so we're going to get rid of that person. And it's a mechanism that is like, it's different from the voting off mechanism, so it's very dramatic because it happens live and it's throwing bags of, like, it's the Midnight Society for no good reason at the end of the show. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Again, I'm a 90s kid. I get my references are dated. The like fact that the end is almost always that complicated means that as a viewer, you are still left with moral ambiguity over the winner. You cannot help but say, you won, but did you win? Like, because you kind of lost in the, did you win in the court of public opinion? Did you lose?
Right. Yes, but it also taps into something that I think it feels like it's specific, like this question and that desire for the sort of bittersweetness or that tension of victory, I feel like is also present in our lexicon today. Like the word diabolical has meaning today that is like not just that, oh, that's evil, but it's like, that's diabolical. Like it was so evil that it's good, you know? And like that feeling, the fact that we use that word now in common parlance more and more, I think is sort of a sign that we are in a moment that can appreciate almost the darkness of good. Like maybe it's a sign that we're embracing certain kinds of complex emotions, but I feel like there's something to that.
Yes. And, you know, we're way after the era of like, I've been watching a lot of like media critique that's been getting into how we're no longer in, or we're driving out of the complex villain era. And we're much more like just leaning into cartoon villainy, where it's just like they are bad. Like we're not really getting into if they have like a Thanos type, like reasonable. It is one of the reasons why Thanos, I think, is one of the best villains of all time. That sort of like, he's diabolical. Like you cannot look at what he did and why he did it and be like, nah, that doesn't make sense. And I wouldn't consider probably the same thing. I would consider, hopefully I wouldn't do it, but I would consider. Same thing with Killmonger, right? In Black Panther. Whoa. It's like comes from a place that makes a ton of sense because they're humanized. And yet now we're in just like flat bad and uncomplicated. But I think that art reflects life. And I think that that's one element of it. I think that the characters in our real lives who are doing bad things, it's not like it's all bad. It's just that some people are okay with the bad that's being done or for whom it's being done against in service of what it's doing for them. You know, it's not so much that those public figures are like, I don't know, being dragged to the court of public opinion with a reasonable amount of motivation behind them. Where am I going with this, Jess? Where am I going with this? You might be asking or thinking. I might also be thinking it myself.
I have a hunch, or maybe a potential related. Anyway, is like
off ramp me.
is how much also this could be related to our admiration. Are shifting admirations, like everybody talking about Timothée Chalamet's speech at where he was like confessing his passion, and he's just like, I just want to be the best at this thing, and surprising everyone. It's maybe not surprising, but just like as a pulse check on the public opinion at the moment, like maybe such a speech would have not gone over that same way, or like, oh, you're so over the top, or you have like, it's good for you, but like he's like, oh wow, like respect for the passion. And I feel like in this case, the sort of the origins of diabolical villainy and our in some ways what feels like a respect for that may also come for our shifting appreciations for that rationality, for that cleverness, logic, smarts. Like, ooh, I mean, you got to hand it to him though, because like that was pretty impressive. And maybe there's something to that of, is it easier to hate the player if you just have a different set of things that you are respecting or appreciating? Like you have a different higher, power ranking of actually the most virtuous trait here would be is about being the kindest versus those who can appreciate the player and say, sorry, are those who are more valorizing the virtues of cleverness, of reason, and so on.
I love that. It helps me see that, like, even the term the court of public opinion is an interesting way to sort of frame one playing field.
Yes.
And then the other is people's careers. Like, I think the Timothée Chalamet example is really fantastic because, like, him being so proud and being so clear about what he wanted to get was, I think it was very true. I think it was just like part of what he truly believed. But I also think that it benefited him in continuing to be seen as an excellent actor on the rise, like as someone who will get potentially more roles because of that, and sort of like wanting to find directors and auteurs who are like, this guy wants to show up. I want him in my film, and I can see how versatile he is. So I want to bring that to my work.
Yeah.
And I think that those two things are in Hollywood, interestingly, or in entertainment, interestingly, like they just sort of go in and out of phase really weirdly. And especially given like the circles of fandoms, there's just so many things that are going in and out of phase, because you could be completely against what's going on in popular discourse or for a really large group of the public, but at the same time, being contrarian or being odious is helping you with a core demographic that is growing, that you're making more money from, and therefore it actually is serving your game to be that terrible. Case in point, Omarosa. So since we're talking reality, people, we cannot let go of Omarosa.
We can't. We simply must talk about it.
There is another show that I have not watched recently, but it definitely comes from a similar DNA of the Traitors. I think it's potentially more trashy. I think they're in season 3 or 4. It's House of Villains. It's on E.
Yeah, I think it auto played like.
Yes.
it was like, and now because you watched the Traitors, I'm sure you're gonna want to watch House of Villains.
Yes. So, and like Joel McHale, speaking of Chevy Chase, Joel McHale is the host of it, which is fantastic. You might remember Joel McHale from Community. You might remember him from The Soup, which was really great. He took over for John Henson after Talk Soup became The Soup. But in any case, Omarosa, it brings together reality show villains, and they basically have to do a bunch of challenges to be crowned the worst villain, and they get a cash prize. Omarosa is on a season with New York. And if you are an old head VH1 reality show lover, you remember New York, Tiffany Pollard, from her own show, I Love New York, but which was preceded by House of Love, which were the dating shows to go after, oh my God, everyone's screaming in their car in the subway right now. Oh God, he wears a clock around his neck. Large clock man on neck. Am I Googling it? Yes, I am. Flava Flav. It's 9:12 a.m. My brain's not warmed up. I'm so sorry. But I hope that was like, landing on a pillow. Tiffany Pollard, aka New York, rips Omarosa with the most vulgar, intense read I have ever heard on TV. It is outrageous. It is outlandish. And I think it's a great encapsulation of everything that we just talked about. she says essentially you chase fame and money regardless of who it hurts. And that is the most PG version of this. Like, it is a gnarly. I say, like, put 3 sets of headphones on your kids if you watch that on YouTube, because that's a spicy meatball. So she's playing a different game. Whether or not she won, I think she's and her crew are the only ones who would know if she would consider her win, because she's playing a different game than the court of public opinion, or playing in a totally different ballpark that just happens to intersect with it. So
Omarosa is.
Yes, Omarosa. Now, my girl, New York wins. I'll just leave it at that. New York is incredible. I love her. She's hilarious. She's stuck around. She came from pre-reality shows. Like, she is the reason that reality show contestants have careers. Like, she proved that it can be a career because she's still doing it. Yep. She's incredible. Yeah.
Oh. Do we think there's any game completely sort of guilt-free, like a perfect game that everyone can understand? Is there any game by design that if done wrong, it's the player's fault?
So, I wonder. There are 2 different types of games that immediately come to mind. One that comes to mind are co-op games where, like Pandemic, which I think the sales of that have been in the toilet for just a few years. And it's a great game, which is why I'm so heartbroken. But Pandemic and Pandemic Legacy, which is the best sort of like serialized board game I've ever played, that was amazing.
Whoa.
I think that, it opens the question of, like, you're fighting against the game designer. And I think that that's actually a little bit more like almost parallel to real life, or a version of real life, where you're not fighting against the other people around the table. You're just fighting against conditions that are unfolding around you. Mm-hmm. And there was a little bit of like Divine Watchmaker to it, where it was set up a certain way, but everything is still unfolding in a way that is random within the context of those rule sets. And then the other type of games that I'm thinking of are asymmetric horror games, where like you have, one person is in control. Like, I think there's a Friday the 13th and there's a Jason, and they're not all horror games, but like there's one character who has a certain set of abilities and then multiple other characters who have to evade that character. It was really popular for horror games because you could be the killer and then other people could be the victims or whatever. And there's still a chance that the victims could escape or could defeat the killer. And it just makes for it almost like shoves the like it makes the rules so clear that I feel like, because we have said that it is imbalanced, you can't feel that bad. Like, the thing is set up for the fact that one character is overpowered and the other 3 are by definition underpowered. So, like, you're probably going to get killed and you're more likely to end up in a good game. Those are close, but I don't know that those are actually guiltless. I don't know that those are actually there. They're still there, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, at some point or another, you can basically get it all wrong.
Yes.
Or maybe all right, and maybe you win. Or maybe you don't win, but you still get it all right according to you.
And or maybe we've just grown up in a capitalist society that completely prizes winning above everything else, and there is no game and you should just exist. But that's a whole other ball of wax.
Well, next time we catch Aaron out surfing the waves, let us just riding the waves.
Of the many physical activities that I could not ever do, I think that surfing is up there with like uneven bars. Like those two things, I would love to see a version of me just like ragdolling around. That's kind of incredible.
Uneven
That's great.
bars.
Yeah. It's very specific. I don't know why that's in my mind, but
So challenging.
It is. It is. You know what? Mary Lou Retton, 1984 Olympics, 10 out of 10. Do it. Although I think she was not uneven bars. I think that was pole vault. Or the springboard.
Vault. Vaulting.
That's it. Thank you. Vaulting. Not pole vault. Vaulting. Well. I think we did.
We do it.
I think you did it, and I think I messed it up.
I
But
agree.
I'm
I think
happy.
it was great. This game was good to me.
Woo! You win.
Yeah.
we're playing on your playing field, and I think you won. I agree.
Oh my goodness. Any listeners, if you have any games you love, players you hate, send it to us at criticalnonsense@sylvain.com.
Please, and thank you.
Critical Nonsense is a Sylvain production.
Brought to you by Mousetrap. It's a different kind of game, and it's a lot shorter than the one you know. It's just got a wooden plank, a spring, and your finger. It's not a good game. Not brought to you by Milton Bradley.
Ow.
Ouchies. We'd like to thank... No, Jess would like to thank...
I'd like to thank Aaron.
Oh, it's so unexpected, and I appreciate it. So sorry. It's literally in front of me, and I mess it up every time. We also want to thank executive producer and patient panda Jess Vander. Oh, you're the best, Jess. Oh my goodness. I think we'd also like to thank sound engineer and he's craftier than a deck of cards, Alex Contel.
Thanks to our programming coordinator and our game maker, Les Jacobs.
That's accurate. I'd say that. And like pips on a die, we would like to thank the production crew, Sarah Gilbert, Nora Mestrich, Christy Jensen, Amanda Medina, and Amy Waters. 545.
And as always, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Special thanks.
I got one.
Do it.
The Battlestar Galactica board game.
Whoa.
If you love Battlestar Galactica, the late the TV show from the 2000s, great nostalgia trip, but like it bakes together the mechanics of a deck builder, a worker placement game, and a Traitors like element to it. There are essentially two phases of the game, potentially three, and you may or may not have a Cylon amongst you that you need to eliminate. Yes. And if you do not, humanity is wiped out. It's classique, very good. Make sure you get the Pegasus expansion. It's a big benefit. Yeah, it's got some good pieces.
Wow, game tips as always exquisite from AP. I'd also like to thank anyone who has ever played a line game with me. It is over pretty quick because I am bad at it, and I'm sorry.
Wait, what's a line game? What like when you
like
have to
Mafia,
a lying game. I see.
One night at a werewolf's house.
Wearing wigs. Yes.
Wearing
werewolf.
wigs, wearing water wolves.
Watch out for that water. Yes. I actually, the other thing that I wanted to thank, I did have one more, and it's just because I've been listening to her on repeat, which is literally not different from any other week. It's Dolly Parton. That's all. She just deserves a thanks.
She does.
Indeed.
And Cher, because we're already over there too. Just another one for you, Cher.
Yes. Oh, can we also thank Stanley Tucci then? Just
Yeah,
'cause,
we
like,
should.
the Tucci
We
is loose.
we should be thanking Stanley Tucci. Very much.
Thank my lucky Tucci. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it should be thank my lucky Stanleys because stars and Stanleys.
Stanleys.
Yeah.
I like
Oh, wow.
both.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, we're done, right?
Okay, we're done. Bye.
Okay, bye.